Then, as Kevin has alluded to, JT Tuimoloau out of Washington, of course, the number one rated player in the country, depending on your service, but certainly a top 5 player defensive end there in the upper Northwest. Just a tremendous talent, sought after there. Washington, Oregon, Alabama, also in the running. Hard commit to Ohio State, but has yet to sign. That's making people nervous. And so, do you think we can read anything into this, Steve?
Well, I just think that he's taking his time and wants to weigh his options. And I think, above all else, has not had a chance to take an official visit to Ohio State. As it stands now, the NCAA moratorium on travel for prospects to visit places on official visits, and for college staffs to welcome players inside their buildings on unofficial visits, and for staff members to recruit off campus. It's all closed right now because of the pandemic, and has been all the way back to the middle of March last season. So it'll be over a year. There'll be a moratorium on all that stuff, so you don't hear of anybody going on official visits. What some players like Rajon Davis did is pay their own way to come to Columbus and take a self-guided tour, or find people locally who can show them around, perhaps another recruit or somebody like that. But staff, their hands are kind of tied by the NCAA rules dictating the pandemic, and I think it is exposure type thing. They don't want to exposure to the virus, but also exposure legally, I think, for these colleges to bring people onto their campus and pay for their visits or whatever, and possibly get them infected with COVID-19 in the process if there would be some type of legal exposure within that, which they don't want, obviously, to be on the hook for. So I guess we're going to wait it out for a while until a few more people get vaccinated. And then, like everything else, hopefully by mid-year, there'll be some movement to where we have a larger percentage of our population that have been vaccinated, to where it is safe, one, to take these kind of campus visits, but two, that we can start putting people back into our stadiums in a safe and orderly fashion without having these risks so prevalent. So I think we're moving toward that slowly, one day at a time, but it's going to be a while, it sounds like. So Coach Day today in his comments brought up the plans for spring, which, as I looked at the calendar, would have them starting practice about March 22nd for 4 weeks, leading up to a possible spring game on April the 17th. What wasn't said, obviously, and that's not a concrete date or anything just yet. They're kind of playing with that as the tentative right now. What isn't said is, will there be fans at that game? And I know that that's an eager thing for everybody out there. Can I get to this game? Can I get to this spring game? Can I see these quarterbacks in person? Can I get there? Am I going to be able to see this? And I know everybody's anxious to get us to that date, but as it stands right now, I think it's completely premature to predict that fans would even be allowed, maybe other than just the families, would be allowed to attend a spring game in mid-April. So it's still 2.5 months away. So a lot of uncertainty out there, but I think, going back to JT, I think that that's what he's holding out for, is a chance, either officially or unofficially, to come to Columbus, check out Ohio State. It's kind of hard to commit and sign with the school without ever having visited. And yet that's kind of where we are. Coach Day today in his comments said that what he noticed from the incoming freshmen who arrived last week is that they're a very close-knit group, and that some of them, had become good friends via Zoom meetings without ever having met each other in person, and that when he sat down at lunch with them, they were kind of cutting up as if they'd known each other for years. And I guess that's a good thing, is that they're really starting to build those bonds. So a lot of ground covered there, just kind of where we're at in this whole process. We're not on third base headed for home just yet with this thing. We are still, I think we're still running down the first baseline, but we're getting there one day at a time.